I represent Ikona in the federal constituency. Distinguished Senator, Chairman, Deputy Chairman of this House Committee, distinguished colleagues, Right Honorable Marcos Onogun.
Proposals for inclusion in the national budget. Distinguished Chairman and members of committee, I am pleased to report that over the past few years, the scheme has made deliberate effort to boost internal revenue generation, especially through reinvigoration of the various NYSC ventures. Our revenue generation platforms include the NYSC online integrated system, farms, garment factories, bakeries, water factories, and NYSC ban. We have ensured prompt remittance of 100% of the revenue generated from the aforementioned to the consolidated revenue account of the federal government. Last year, 2024, the sum of 602,626,922 naira 20 kobo has been generated and paid to the federal government as at September 2024. When viewed against the sum of 1,425,835,459 naira 52 kobo projected for the year in view, our recorded performance so far is 42%. The reduction in the revenue is as a result of the reduction in the number of core members registered for the year 2024 and for obvious reasons. The breakdown of our revenue performance for 2024 and revenue projection for 2025 are as shown on the table below. Distinguished Chairman, permit me to go to the expenditure presentation for the budget proposal. The budget sum of 431,211,640,853 naira only, which comprises of capital, total overhead, and personnel cost was allocated to us by the Budget Office of the Federation. By and large, we followed the usual parameters. However, the following areas have been taken into consideration. Projected figure of 400,000 core members have been approved by the Budget Office of the Federation for mobilization in 2025 budget year. The new federal universities and private ones are already graduating their pioneer sets, while the number of graduates of recently approved courses in older universities have also increased appreciably. The new non-regular allowance of 77,000 only has also been captured by the Budget Office of the Federation in the 2025 personnel cost budget, following Mr. President's approval of the increase of the core members' allowance from 33,000 and conveyed by a letter by the National Salary and Income Wages Commission, consequent upon the enactment of the National Minimum Wage Amendment Act 2024. I consider it pertinent to state that despite the fact that the presidential approval for the payment of the new core members' allowance 77,000 naira was to take effect from 29 July 2024, it is yet to be implemented. Once again, I thank this Honorable House for your unwavering support for the scheme, which has been a key factor in the success we have recorded. The detail of projection just as the co-chairman has said, segmented on personnel, capital, and the overhead. We have the salary of the personnel, non-regular allowances for the core members, regular allowances for the core members, NHIS, and the contributory pension employers' contribution as spelled out there. What? The total there is 388 million 440 million 776,527 naira 45 kobo. The overhead cost budget estimate in line with the ceiling given to us, we have 40 billion 790 million 254,518 naira. While the capital budget estimate in line with the ceiling is 1 billion 980 million 609,809 naira. We have the 2025 revenue projection is as shown on the table. This is the last page.
EG, can I observe you? What figure did you give us? And the figures I wrote out earlier. You know that every committee in the House becomes a subcommittee to the appropriation committee during budget cycles like this. So the documents we have here from the appropriation bill laid by the president, for overhead you have 40 billion 278 million 643,040 naira, whereas you are quoting 40 billion 790. So it means that your figure is higher than the one that presented by the president. Or you are going to get some money from Cameroon to add, or so. But it's not a problem. The figure is less than 500 million. We'll harmonize it, but I just want you to know that the source documents is what we get from appropriation, not what you bring. And those discrepancies, if you go to printing of security documents, you see that your figure is different from what is appropriation. Field and camping materials, there's a difference there, and then security charges. But we'll do that. But I'm afraid that we will not be able to exceed the ceiling that is given by appropriation, what the president laid. I'm just observing you, so you can go ahead. Do it now. For printing of security documents, are you there? Printing of security documents, you have 300 million.
We have 100.
In your own documents?
Yes, sir.
Printing of security documents, 300 million.
We have 160.
But we have from appropriation, printing of security documents, 250 million.
No, sir.
And the numbers are the same. The ERDP numbers. So you have a lesser figure from appropriation, 250 million, whereas your document is showing 300 million.
Mr. Chairman, point out. What did you say for printing of security documents, sir? 300
million by his documents, what you have there. But what we got from appropriation to guide us in this defense is 250 million.
We have 160. This is 116 million, sir.
One what?
That's the ministry.
No, that's ministry. Go to NYC subhead. That's Ministry
My
of Youth.
apologies, sir.
The NYC one is here, Honorable.
Are you there? It's not a problem, DG. Of course, it's an envelope system. You will not get more than what appropriation passes. I'm just observing you so that you don't come and say you have shortage.
I understand.
And then the next one there is field and camping materials. For field and camping materials, your documents is giving 220 million, whereas appropriation is giving 170 million. So there's another 50 million shortage. Yours is in surplus of 50 million. And then the third one now is security charges, where you are, okay, the security charges are the same. Okay, so it's basically printing of security documents and then field and camping materials. So we'll address that. Is it, where did you get it from? Is it the call letter you sent to the Ministry of Budget, or where did you get that?
The one we go from the budget office and we uploaded it to the same office.
So it's clear, yeah. So by the time they took it, by the time the president brought it here, it was reduced. Yeah. So that's it. So please, while we were on, other very respected honorable members of this committee walked in. I'd like them to quickly introduce themselves. I've concluded your presentation. Okay. So that leads us to the next item on the agenda, which is any other business questions by honorable members. But we're speaking on the documents that we have before us.
Please let us be very brief. Because we have two orders from the committee today. We have another one for 2, which we have to prepare, and another one for 4, which we have to prepare again, so that we don't repeat questions or observations. Then let's just be very, very brief. Thank you.
Honorable Jeremiah.
The first one is on the 2024 performance, budget performance. So I'm looking at your personnel costs. The first item there shows that there is a deficit or outstanding balance of maybe your salaries, allowances, and the rest. Then coming down to the pension, you have SS. Please, can you explain this? Because ordinarily, the pension and the salary should go together under normal circumstances. So I want to get explanation to this. The second observation is on your capital. The capital for 2024 and the proposal for 2025. We discovered that some items of capital assets are repeated. Well, okay, so in the capital for 2024, the performance, there are items such as procurement of 185 units of laptops for payment and biometric capturing of core members. Same repeated in the 2025, and other items of capital nature. Do you have a depreciation policy in your organization? And why is this repetition? And lastly, looking at this other document, revenue performance for 2024, of course, we're looking at compliance with the Fiscal Responsibility Act of 2007. I can see only receipts from the Accountant General. DGs, are you listening? From the Accountant General. We have seen a table of what you've generated. And looking at this receipt and the dates on this receipt, there is no tally. It doesn't tally. It doesn't tally because we can see October to December 2023. We're looking at 2024. we can see January to March 2024, April to May 2024. Then we can see January to July again 2024, and like that. So it's not so clear. And I also want to see a reconciliation with the Fiscal Responsibility Commission to this. So maybe you have some explanation to this you can make to the committee. Thank you.
Thank you. With the question of duplication of biometrics item that we purchased in 2024, and we are also bringing it up in 2025. It is a continuous process. This capital project, we need it in virtually all the states. When we purchase particular number, we look at the critical state, we distribute to those states, and we went ahead to budget for the next this thing again so that it can go around. And again, these are perishable items. Sometimes you discover that they get wound out. Sometimes they develop a fault, so we have to substitute them. So it is an ongoing thing. It's just like going to buy mattresses every year you say you are buying mattresses for camps. After a certain number of years, you discover that these mattresses cannot hold again. You need to go ahead and continue.
So in this case, we are looking at computers.
These are computers and the scanners that you mentioned for biometrics in the states for core members. The issue of personnel you mentioned, because of the increment of the salary, and it's an ongoing something that will continue to pay this. You discover that you have more by the time we receive the increment for the personnel.
So related with the pension is
DG, you will get a communication from the House specific to the reconciliation of salaries and IPPS as it were, because the man you are taking the question from is the Deputy Chairman Committee on Public Accounts. And he's an ICANN, he's certified, he's a chartered accountant. So you will not be able to win the arguments in this committee. I can assure you that. So we are going to possibly set up a committee to look into that. So you get an official communication from the clerk of the committee specific to the reconciliation of your personnel and IPPS as it were. So the next question will come from Honorable MB.
Mr. Chairman, mine is observation and then an advice. And I'm only giving the advice because in the last budget session we gave the DG advice and he took it. We've seen the implementation. Mr. DG, if you go into this summary you gave, if you look at number 9, plant generator fuel cost. If you go to, why don't you, and then if you go to item 2, 2025 capital, why you said you need to purchase 3 units of 30 kVA generator. Why don't the organization look at the possibility of opting for solar energy? I think it will reduce this so much overhead costs and running costs and maintenance. This is my observation, 1. And then 2, if you go back to local travel transport training, there is an amount of 500 million appropriated to that. And then the same local travel and transport again, item 15. Isn't this duplication, Mr. DG? Or if you can explain,
Well, Honorable Co-Chair, I get your observation very clearly, and I thank you very much for this issue of option on solar. Just yesterday, I was with Director of General Services. That's the same thing I mentioned to him. and giving her opportunity to go and find out how we can deviate if it is possible on this solar matter. On this other one is for training and the other one is for local running for the scheme. It's on training matter. The local travel is for training. Those we convert from different states, we call them for 20 personnel. While the other one for official duty at the scheme level.
Thank you, Honorable Shehu.
DG, my question is a very simple one. It's on the 2025 capital estimates, number 13, item number 13, procurement and installation of one set of man-o-war gadget in the orientation camp. Can we just know what that man-o-war gadget is and what
Well, the man-o-war gadget, I'm sure most of us are familiar with that participate in the camp here that they use in physical exercise. Most times we look at states that we have some discrepancy. What is this? Okay, thank God, the items are here. We have spider net, we have Jacob ladder, we have sliding rope, 12 feet wall, 6 feet wall, barbed wire tars, beam, press and jump, balancing lock, swing and regain, tire and tube, bomber and bridge, postman, wall. All these things, prices are attached to it, got into the total of that amount that we have given, 28,900,000.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And then, Honorable Kunkwa.
DG, mine is very simple. As of the last budget presentation, we kind of admonished you that you should try and look more inwards to see how you can generate more under the auspices of the NYSC and have better revenue generation. And upon reading towards what you made, should I say, or what you were able to generate as of 2004, you put it at 40% of your estimated budget. So I would just like for you to touch on that, because I think that maybe some of the recommendations in which we made the last budget presentation, maybe you hadn't taken it into consideration or you hadn't applied some of those. Some of those were saying, look, you have multiple campuses, have more of the businesses spread across different other campuses and have it all put together and congregated. Then of course, we mentioned about you mentioned about the bread factory, you mentioned about the water factory, all of that. But here, just say Bismarck 400 or so. How much is it again? Okay, 600 million for the entire year. I think that's, in my opinion, I think for all the campuses, I think that's very poor, in my opinion. But maybe if you want to touch based on that, and so let us try to actually deliberate and see if we can have a better 2025, because this is revenue generation for the government. And of course, I believe that when the government can see that you are doing well, it will also reflect on your allocations. So maybe we need to actually just hammer that down a little bit more on how we can work to make that better, or at least even try to attain. Because you mentioned that the reason is because of the reduction of registration, right? Or reduction of NYSC members, But I don't know. For me, I think that's not a cogent enough reason, in my own opinion. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Honorable. It's not one-off. So even after this budget presentation, members are able to observe anything that they need clarification. We'll always come to, even if it's tomorrow, we can call you to come back. So on that note, we'll just have two more honorable members speaking, and then we'll yield the floor to distinguished senators. But you want to say something before that?
Just a sentence or two, sir. Revenue. We are opinion and suggestion of the Honorable House was well taken. I must say here that recently we have opened even a water factory in Kaduna camp. We have equally opened a bread bakery at Asaba recently. What you are seeing, this revenue is at September 2024. We had 2024 batch A and batch C1 and batch C. We are doing batch C in January now. If you look at the registration, I tell you by the time you put them together, we are going to get up to that 1 billion. So by the time I'm presenting a budget of next year, you will see the result. There's nothing that is lacking. We are not going back. We are progressing. I've taken note of that one. I promise you when we come here, you will see it clearly.
Thank you very much, Honorable. We share David Lalu.
Colleagues, our guest, my just concern is very simple. Here, when you look at 2024 budget performance evaluation, purely on this capital, I can see outstanding. I want to ask, if you look at this outstanding, there is one item, purchase of one pickup van, which does not have an outstanding. Is the outstanding coming as a result of your procurement process, or it is from the Office of Accountant General when they are doing disbursement? They are having that. NYSC 2024 performance. Budget performance. Budget performance. Look at where they are capitals. I don't think you are. Open the next page. Open the next page. The next page. Yes. You see a column, the second to the last column, outstanding balances. My question is these outstanding balances coming from you people at the cost of procurement process? Why? Since the federal government is ready to release the 100% for you, why are you making deduction? Because such things is affecting some of us in having our constituency projects, putting in some of these agencies. They usually not award the contract as at the money we appropriate. There are some certain deductions that at the end of the day, we can't have explanations towards it. And when you pull them together, it's a significant amount of money. So why this outstanding?
Chairman, sir, at the point of procurement process, certain items cannot be bidded to the last couple. You must have fractions, and those fractions, based on the amount appropriated for, and inflation again can come. If you appropriate something that's supposed to cost 500, by the time of doing the appropriation, the price must have increased to 600-700. So at that time, when you are doing the bidding, of course, it has to be a price that when you award the contract, the person will be able to execute the contract. You don't just award without being executed. So that's what is leading to the fractions. You must have those fractions. You can't avoid fractions.
Your bank charges is quite high. Your total budget component of overhead and capital is roughly 42 billion or thereabout. And what you've estimated here for bank charges, I think you could do better, because this is about 2.5% thereabout. I think you can do better. I don't know who your bankers are, but you can do better to be able to negotiate something, perhaps about 50% of this 961 million that is going towards bank charges. The premiums, does it cover life coverage for serving members? Does it cover medical insurance during the course of their service year? And if yes, what is the amount, right? Because we've had instances where Corp members in the course of service lose their lives for one reason or the other, unfortunately. What is the cost that is given to their family members? And then last but not least, Mr. Chairman, is INEC, right? For 2025, they have a budget estimate of about 126 billion. We don't even have major elections in this particular year. And a major component of their budget is always ad hoc staff. And I know that NYC is always one of the catchment areas from where they get this ad hoc staff. Now, are some of the funds given to INEC, from INEC to NYSC for onward management of your NYSC core members, or are they paid directly to core members? I just want to get a sense of if you receive any funds from INEC at all for the deployment of core members as ad hoc staff. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Well, thank you very much for. I've heard your questions. I have listened to you. We will go back to the bank. We will do our best, and because we will improve. We'll find a way.
Banking services.
We'll find a way over it and see how we can improve on that. On the issue of INEC ad hoc staff, yes, the core members that participate on the election exercise as ad hoc staff, INEC pay them directly. And in some cases where we have issues, we always write to INEC. However, we have a synergy and a good working relationship with INEC. The only problem, fund has always been a case, but I think it is a kind of exercise that can always be improved. But any time we have issues, we go back to them, we write to them. Sometimes we have to send our director of core welfare to go and mediate with them. On the issue of insurance, yes, we have insurance cover for all the core members. The life insurance is there. In the case of a death of a core member, we follow up. They are being paid. They pay the sum of 1 million naira. While for those that are sick, you know, the NHIS cover their health issues. Recently, that one has started just 2022, and I think we're doing that. We're working on that. That is how this the issue of INEC and insurance is going on. Thank you very much.
Thank you very, very much, Ben Session. And this also underscores the importance of this committee to the legislative agenda of the 10th Assembly when we talk about inclusion. Just while you were doing your defense, the Chief Whip of the House of Representatives himself walked in to join us here. And I'm talking about Right Honorable, I almost said His Excellency, Right Honorable Usman Bello Kumo, the Chief Whip of the House of Representatives. Welcome, Leader. Leader, you are welcome. And we're just having the joint session of the Committee on Youth Development for NYC estimate. So maybe you have 1 or 2 words for us. Welcome, Leader.
Thank you very much. What does it cover for the core members? Is it just to cover their treatment for malaria? What does it entails? We need to know, because in the course of our oversight, we will interact and interface with these core members to know at what level, when they are taking treatment, what does this NHIS cover? So we need to hear from you. Thank you.
Co-chair, if you allow me, please, I can make presentation, maybe file the kind of report and send to you so that you see the areas that I've covered. I have not come along with those things, but I know it goes beyond malaria and mano sicknesses. It goes beyond that one. But I can just itemize those things and send to you for that reason. Since you said this presentation is continuing.
Like I said, this is my fountain, my source, my foundation, my genesis. So I'll be with you and I'll be here. So though spiritually, not bodily. So the DG, so thank you. And then we are closing for today, and then we want a member or a senator to move a motion for adjournment. And for your information, we are going to have the Federal Ministry for Youth Development by 2 o'clock at the same venue. And it's going to be a robust debate. And we expect everyone to be present. And then, because that is the nerve of youth development in Nigeria. And since we all know that youth constitute not less than 60% of the population of Nigeria, and then when we look at our other members, almost all of us are youthful. Even those of us that are coaches. Because I always say that the coach for under 16 Nigerian football is not an under 16 aged person. So it's someone who's more elderly and older than them who has fountain of knowledge. So definitely I'm a coach. So he's the technical advisor. I know the technical advisor deals with the team members, but the coach is the one who will be doing the administrative job. So on that note, so can someone move for the adjournment for today? At 2 o'clock, when we are meeting the ministry.
Thank you, Co-Chairman.